Hello and welcome to Mint Canvas. Let's talk about time management, one of the most important skills you need to be successful. As a student, you're juggling multiple projects, activities, lectures, and assignments. And without a system to support you, it's hard to reach your full potential and the grades you desire. Then what to do? Fear not. In the last few years, I've picked up a few techniques that will transform the way you plan and execute your schedule. I wish I had this knowledge when I first started uni. Instead, I have learned through trial and error and online research. But the important thing is that the principles I'm about to share will follow you even beyond graduation. So let's discover together how to manage the most precious, non-renewable resource there is: time. You know already that time is limited, and it's the only resource we can't make more of. So we must learn how to manage it quickly and efficiently. How? To start learning and implementing time management, you will need two main things: a calendar and your schedule. You can use a physical calendar, an agenda, or a digital one. It doesn't matter. I prefer a digital calendar because it's much more versatile and I can input tasks directly on my phone using Notion Calendar, but Google Calendar works just fine on its own. Now, you have to create your ideal week. Inside this weekly calendar, you are going to input everything you do daily. First, decide the time you want to wake up and go to bed, along with lunchtime and dinner if you have them planned. Then, add all fixed deadlines. If you have lectures, put them in. If you attend club activities or extracurricular activities, time block those hours too. And don't forget personal stuff, like gym sessions. Your health is important. You can't possibly be productive or successful if your health can't support you, right? So don't skip it. Now what? Once you've blocked all fixed deadlines, you should see some blank spaces all over your week. So you can now add tasks that come up during the week, study sessions and personal activities. This alone won't help tremendously though. It's a start because it will be easier to meet deadlines, but you need a more structured calendar. And this brings us to the second component of this system: prioritization. You might think that you should just write down your task list and work on the first, most urgent thing that comes up, right? Well, this approach is not wrong, but it isn't the most effective. You not only need to follow the urgency of a task, but you must take into consideration the things that move the needle, meaning the actions that will make the most impact for your academic endeavor. It can take some time to effectively recognize those areas, so don't worry and take a moment to assess your task list. Now ask yourself, what are the things that will give me more return? Is it studying for an exam that happens a month from now, or acing the assignment that is worth 40% of my grade? Identify what actually makes a difference in your schedule and learn how to say no to things that are not impactful and yes to things that make you progress. Be intentional with your calendar and, most importantly, be honest, because this exercise is for you. You're not competing with anyone, so don't be discouraged. Systems are made to support your growth and should work for you. So if you need to tweak something or reschedule tasks, do it. You are progressing toward a more efficient version of yourself. Now that you have your task list and you've identified the things that will move the needle, start scheduling those blocks in your calendar. And already you have a more result-driven schedule. Another principle I like is the eat the frog principle. This means tackling the most demanding task early in the day when your energy levels are high, because it eliminates burnout and procrastination and gives you a lot of motivation to follow and go on with your day. Every activity that needs a lot of creative or mental energy should be done when your energy levels are high. Generally speaking, mornings are great for deep work, while studying late at night or after dinner is not really advisable, since our energies and our attention tend to decrease. Also, we want to spend some time with friends, right? But again, do what works for you, because if you are seeing actual results with your current strategy, keep it up. Now that you have a clear calendar and have allocated your time, it's time to execute following your calendar. This brings us to the last principle: effective time blocking. Keep in mind Parkinson's law. Work expands to fill the time available for its completion, which means you must learn to time block in a way that makes sense. If writing an essay takes you 2 hours, don't allocate 4 hours for it, or you will lose 2 hours you could have spent elsewhere. You need to identify how much it takes to complete each task and activity you've planned. And to do so, you have to start time tracking your day. It may seem a bit extra, but trust me, it's not easy to determine how much time it actually takes you to do something, especially at the beginning. And if you want this skill to give you the most return on investment, you need to do this exercise at least for the first weeks. Let's say you have a yoga class on Tuesday and Friday from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. Fine, you might time block this on your calendar in these specific hours. But have you considered how much time it takes you to commute to the gym? Maybe it's just a 10-minute walk, or maybe it's a 20-minute drive, plus the shower after the yoga session and the drive back home. Now you're looking at a 2-hour window instead of one, which you hadn't considered in your daily schedule. You might think it's unimportant to track those extra minutes, but you might discover that you can use your bus commute to revise a lesson or read a book for your exam. So identifying all those dead spaces improves your efficiency and creates a realistic schedule, which is very important. One that is sustainable, because if a system isn't sustainable, it's practically useless, right? And speaking of sustainability, time management has other benefits. By creating an efficient calendar, you will have a default structure to follow and guide your decisions. And not only will you do more with your time, but it will make the journey much more enjoyable since it's tailored to your needs and rhythm. The last step you should take is to review your week. So take a moment to ask yourself what worked, where you struggled, and why. Have you managed to complete all tasks? If not, don't beat yourself up, because rescheduling is not a crime. Quite the opposite. But maybe you have overworked yourself or scheduled too much in a single day. So be intentional when identifying the areas you need to improve. Maybe you realize that some activities are taking up too much time, or maybe you prefer to study with people and you perform best in study groups. Do more of what works for you and reduce all things that create friction and stress. If you must participate in an activity that you find hard or boring, try pairing it up with something enjoyable, like the group study sessions, for example. Have you ever thought of that? To sum up, step number 1 is to decide which tool you're going to use, for example, Google Calendar, which I strongly suggest, and start setting up your ideal week. Step 2 is to list all fixed activities and all tasks that come up. Step 3 is to prioritize the tasks that will guarantee more results and reschedule, delegate, or even delete what is not really moving the needle. Step 4 is to execute based on your improved calendar, while time tracking your tasks. Step 5 is to review your progress and identify any areas that might need some adjustment. So, what do you think of this system? Are you already implementing these steps? And if you did, what are the areas you found the most difficult to stick to? Time blocking and reviewing were the hardest part for me. The first weeks were quite painful, but once I found the perfect balance, I became unstoppable. And I want you to do the same. Now you have a supercharged calendar, a tool that is at your disposal to guide your decisions. I'm sure that this method will follow you even after your academic journey, all through your work life. Its principles don't change. It's done wonders for me, and I'm confident you'll reap the fruits of your hard work and have a more balanced life. Your calendar has got your back. So let's not waste more precious time and start planning our ideal week. I hope you found the video helpful. If you're looking for a way to increase productivities, we have plenty of videos that will help you. Go check them out. Thank you so much for watching and happy planning!